to the 5 Minute Tech channel. Today we will be talking about API first development design using ASP.NET Core and Swagger. In this we'll be implementing a real world scenario for implementing customer support ticketing system. So let's get started. So what is API first approach for any development? It means to design your API contract before writing any code. Now, how it helps is it reduces the development expense and it boosts your development productivity and enhances software quality along with fostering design flexibility because you are doing the API designing at first before you start coding the APIs. Overview of the API first approach. The concept of API starts with the business team identifying a problem scenario or an opportunity. This opportunity is analyzed and a plan to capitalize on it is created in a text document like mostly like a epic or a story, and it is documented by strategist, analyst or other business analyst folks. This document is then passed along to the development team where the development of the API happens in two main ways. The first one is your design first approach, in which the plan is converted to a human or machine readable contract such as an open API specification document. A Swagger document is an example from which the code can be built. The second approach is more prevalent, wherein we code first and based on the business plan, API is directly coded from which a human and machine readable document such as a Swagger document can be generated. So why do we need API first? We need API first approach as more efficient way of working because it increases the efficiency. There are few bottlenecks and smoother integration because you have designed your API flows to start with, and then you have agility, faster development and parallel workflows wherein you can mock the API responses and continue working on the backend, and the UI can consume it and continue their work parallelly. Reusability, reusable APIs across the projects. Scalability is easy integration, it has easy integration with new channels. And security, strong security protocols from the start wherein you design the APIs at first, and so you consider all those security considerations as well. Now, best practices for API first. You need to first define clearly and concisely the API specifications. You should keep the API simple and easy to use, and then you can automate the API documentation generation as well as otherwise to keep it updated, and then implement API testing and validation regularly, and then monitor the API performance and usage on the regular basis. So this is we will be using a Swagger editor to design our APIs. We will be creating those stubs for the API layer along with the other DTOs which will be involved. So we'll be talking about more that in the demo. So let's get started with the demo. So the first step is to launch the editor.swagger.io, and here you will be getting if you just go to the sample application and just open it, you will be getting a full example set which you can use. But here we'll be building from scratch, so we will be removing everything we got in the as a default and recreating the details here. So let's get started on that. So here we have defined the basic details, open API version info. We can provide the title, the version of this API, different paths which we'll be having. We'll have a couple of them. One is the post of tickets for creating the ticket, and a get of ticket with the ID. So these will be the two APIs which we will be using along with a get action of the list of the tickets. So total 3 APIs we will be having, and then the components will be 2 DTOs. One is the ticket create DTO and the ticket DTO. Now this is something which we can type in as property here, and that will show up in the Swagger editor.io. And after doing this, you can go ahead and save this file as a YAML file. So here, as you see, I have saved it as a YAML file in my local repository which has the same details. Now I will go ahead and generate the controller class based on this YAML file. Now to do that you need to install nswag.console core. So this is a assembly which we need to install to .NET Tools. So we'll go ahead and do it. For me, I have already installed, so it is saying it is already installed, but you may need to install it in the first time. After this, we will be running a command line, and the command line goes like this, which has the nswag which we just installed, and it will have open API to CS controllers. Input will be your specific YAML file which we have created. We will provide the class name as tickets API controller, namespace as the ticketing system.api controller. We'll pass the controller base class, and also the output will be saved in a .g.cs file. And the last part is optional. We'll just remove this and we'll click enter, and this has been created. Now we'll go ahead and check the file now. As you see, there's a g.cs file being created. If you open this and to check this one, you will be able to see that it is having a proper format of creating an interface of the controller. Then it has the controller base in its place, and the different API methods are present in this. Now we'll go ahead and add this to a ASP.NET Web API project and solution. So here I'm creating an empty solution first. So let me just go ahead and create a empty solution, and in this solution I'll go ahead and add a Web API project. So new project, ASP.NET Core Web API project. I'll rename this as ticketing system.api, and I will do next. I'll create the enable API open API support in this, and I'll click create. Now in this I will go ahead and delete the weather forecaster default controller which comes in, and also the class file, and I'll go ahead and put the controller file here, g.cs controller file. So I've added this generated controller file. The couple of things which I will have to make changes to decorate this with the API controller, so I'll go ahead and do that. So I've added the API controller and the route controller. Now as you see, there is a missing reference for Newtonsoft. I'll go ahead and add the reference. So manage NuGet package, browse, and in the Newtonsoft JSON I will go ahead and install this. And we'll go ahead and check if it is fixed. Yeah, it seems to be fine now. Now we'll go ahead and run this application, and we should be able to see the Swagger page with the three REST APIs in place. So let's run this now. Now as soon as I run this, I see the one post and to get APIs are in place with the different DTOs, and that's how we configure our APIs even before coding anything else through our swagger.io editor file and through the YAML file which we have created. Now we can go ahead and plug in the code which we require to make this controller return a response. Now we have created the mock ticket service. The mock ticket service will have a mock data for a couple of tickets, 101 and 102. It takes from the iTicket API controller, and in the API controller we are just returning tickets all async, whichever we have implemented to get all the tickets. Now when we run this, I'll stop this and run this again. So when we run this, we will be able to fetch all the tickets when we click on execute, and that's how we will be able to get the data. So instead of mocking going forward, we can plug it to the database and get the data accordingly. So that was pretty much about this implementation. Hope you like the video. If you like, press like and subscribe to the channel.